So today we're digging into something I think a lot of us run into after, that first wave of excitement about AI. You figured out the basics, maybe you're pretty good at prompts, you might even use personas. But then there's the real challenge, actually moving from just using AI sometimes to making it a real everyday part of how you work. It's kind of shocking how easy it is to just slip back into the old ways, especially when things get busy, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We see that all the time. People get the tools, they learn the techniques, but actually weaving that into the daily grind, making it automatic, that's the tricky part.
Right. And that's exactly what we want to tackle today. We're talking about building that bridge, taking AI from being this occasional cool trick to a consistent productivity partner that's really working for you. Think of it as creating your own personal AI playbook.
Exactly. This deep dive is all about mapping that out. We'll look at how to spot the best places to bring AI into your specific workflows, how to tailor strategies for different kinds of tasks, how to build habits that actually stick, and even how to document things so it's repeatable. This isn't just general advice. It's about building your plan.
Okay, let's get into it. So if we really want to weave AI into our work, where do we even start throwing prompts at everything?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No, the very first step, and honestly it's the one people often skip, is getting a really, really clear picture of what you actually do now. Before you even think about which AI tool to use, you need to map out your current workflow, actually visualize your typical week. What does it really involve?
Okay, so not just a vague idea, but getting down to the nitty-gritty. What are the actionable steps there? How do we get that clear picture?
Well, first step is tracking your activities. Seriously, document the tasks you do regularly, and don't just note down the time. Think about which ones really drain your mental energy. Pay attention to the tasks you put off or the ones you find kind of challenging. It's interesting, most people really underestimate the hidden cost of small tasks. It's not just the minutes, it's that mental switching cost. That's a productivity killer.
Tracking mental energy drain. I like that. It really is like a deep dive into your own work habits. Okay, so we've tracked everything. What's next?
Then you categorize it. Look for the big buckets. Communication stuff, email, Slack, meetings, content creation, writing reports, docs, maybe presentations. Then there's analysis, research, and don't forget all those little recurring admin things. Grouping helps you see the patterns.
And I guess once you have those categories, you need to see how they all connect, the whole workflow chain reaction.
Precisely. That's mapping dependencies. Figuring out what has to happen before something else can start. Where do things get stuck? Those are your bottlenecks, and what kicks off new work. Getting this map gives you that bird's eye view of how things actually flow day to day.
Right. So once you have this detailed map laid out, how do you spot the sweet spot, where AI can really make a difference? Because like you said, it can do a lot, but maybe not everything well.
Good question. Once you see the map, you start looking for those patterns where AI adds the most bang for your buck. There are kind of three key things to look for. First, repetitive tasks. The stuff that follows a clear, predictable pattern. Think weekly status reports, standard email replies, filling out the same kind of documentation over and over. Predictability is AI's friend.
Okay. The stuff that's necessary but kind of soul-crushing because it's the same every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Second, look for the really time-consuming activities. Things where AI could just, drastically speed things up, like pulling together research from a ton of different places, getting that initial first draft of a document going, summarizing long meeting notes, or even doing that first pass at data analysis.
And what about those tasks that just feel heavy? The ones where you find yourself staring at the screen for ages before you even start. We all have those.
That's the third one. Cognitive bottlenecks. Tasks you tend to procrastinate on where you feel stuck, maybe hit writer's block, or just need some creative juice to get going. Think about it less like AI doing the work and more like AI unblocking you. Ever spent 15 minutes just trying to figure out how to start an email? AI can spit out a starting point, not because you can't write it, but because just getting started is half the battle sometimes.
That's a really valuable way to think about it. Okay, but like you hinted, AI isn't perfect for everything. How do we judge if a task is actually a good fit or if we should just, keep doing it the old way?
Right, yeah, you can't just apply it blindly. That can actually make things worse. You need to evaluate each potential opportunity systematically. First criterion is structure and predictability. How consistent is the task? Is it high, super clear, same pattern every time, medium, some variations, or low, really unpredictable? Generally, the higher the structure, the better AI tends to do.
Okay, so clear process, good candidate. Makes sense. What else?
Then think about creativity versus accuracy. Does this task need like truly original out-of-the-box thinking? Or is precision absolutely critical? What's the balance needed? Next, and this one's really important, sensitivity and risk level. What happens if the AI messes up? Are you dealing with confidential stuff? Is this something going directly to a client where a mistake could be, really bad?
Yeah, that risk factor feels huge. An AI mistake with sensitive info isn't just wasted time, it could be a real problem.
Absolutely. And finally, consider the human touch requirement. Does this task really benefit from, genuine empathy, personal connection, the kind of nuanced human judgment? Or is it something where the recipient actually expects it to be personally crafted? Some things just need that human element.
Okay, this is great. So we've mapped our work, we've spotted potential AI spots, we've evaluated them, but wow, that could still be a long list. How do we decide where to actually start? How do you prioritize?
Excellent question. Yeah, you can't boil the ocean.
Yeah.
You prioritize based on basically three things. First, impact potential.
Yep.
How much time could you save? How much could quality improve? How much stress could it reduce? Or, how much strategic value does it unlock?
Okay, so how big is the win? And then I guess, how hard is it to actually do it?
Exactly. That's implementation ease. How quickly can you actually get this running with AI? What's the learning curve? Are there any technical hurdles or maybe organizational roadblocks? And the third piece is risk level, which we touched on. What are the real consequences if the AI-assisted version isn't perfect? How easy is it to check the output? What safety nets can you put in place?
Right. So it sounds like there's almost a little formula brewing here.
You could think of it that way, yeah. Conceptually, it's like priority score, impact plus ease risk. So using AI for something like weekly team updates, probably high impact, pretty easy to set up, low risk, boom, high priority. Drafting complex client proposals, highest impact maybe, but also higher risk, needs more careful setup and review. So that might come later, or need more human oversight built in.
Okay, that framework makes a lot of sense for picking the starting points.
Yeah.
So once we've picked one, how do we actually do the integration? Because summarizing meeting notes feels very different from drafting a marketing plan. The strategies must be pretty different, right?
You're absolutely right. The approach has to fit the work type. Let's take communication workflows first. Emails, internal messages, prepping for meetings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, everyone sinks so much time into email.
Totally. So for communications, think about AI for response templates with personalization. Instead of writing the same basic reply again and again, get AI to generate templates for common things. Then use prompts to quickly customize them, like draft a polite follow-up to name about project, recap our chat on point A and point B, and ask for their next steps by date. That template becomes a quick, personalized tool.
Oh man, I could definitely use help with tone sometimes, especially late in the day.
Right, so tone and clarity enhancement is a big one. You can use AI to review important messages. Give it prompts like, make this sound more formal, or simplify this explanation, or check if this sounds friendly enough. And don't forget things like follow-up management, having AI draft reminders or check-ins based on past emails.
Okay, that's useful. What about when you're doing research? Drowning in articles and data?
Yeah, research and info gathering is another prime area. AI can help with the initial landscape mapping. Ask it to generate an outline for your research or suggest key questions you should be asking. It can broaden your perspective. Then, for information synthesis and summarization, this is huge. Feed it multiple sources, and it can consolidate the key insights, identify common themes, spot patterns you might miss scrolling through everything yourself.
And finding the gaps. Sometimes figuring out what you don't know is the hardest part.
Exactly. That's gap analysis and follow-up research. AI can look at what you've gathered and point out, hey, you don't have much info on this angle. Or it can generate specific questions to guide your next search. And finally, research documentation and sharing. AI can help reformat your findings for different audiences, translating complex stuff into, say, an executive summary or a presentation outline.
Content creation, that's going to be a big one too. Reports, blog posts, social media.
Oh, definitely. Content development is probably one of the most common use cases. For ideation and outlining, Stuck for Ideas. Ask AI for a list of potential blog topics or different angles on a subject. It can generate structured outlines too. Then for first draft generation, here's a tip. Don't just ask for one draft. Ask AI for maybe 3 different versions of an introduction or 2 different ways to explain a complex point. Then you curate and blend, which is often faster than starting from scratch.
Ah, so it gives you building blocks and options, not just a single thing to react to. But then there's editing that still feels like the heavy lift.
It can be, but AI helps a lot here too. Think editing and refinement. You can use it for different passes, like review this for structural flow, then, okay, now check for clarity and conciseness, then make the tone more engaging. You can give it specific instructions. And content optimization and variation is super useful. Take a long report chapter, ask AI to turn it into a LinkedIn post, 3 tweets, and a short email summary. Adapting content becomes much faster.
Okay, that's powerful, especially for repurposing stuff. Now, what about analysis and making decisions? That feels like it needs a lot of human judgment. Can AI really help there?
Surprisingly, yes, it can be a really valuable assistant. For data interpretation and pattern identification, feed it complex data, and it can often summarize key insights, spot subtle trends, or even connect dots between different data sets that you might not see immediately. It can also really help with option generation and evaluation. If you're facing a decision, ask AI to brainstorm potential alternatives and then generate a list of pros and cons for each option. It helps structure your thinking.
So it kind of forces you to look at things more objectively and consider different angles.
Precisely. And then it can assist with recommendation development, helping you structure your argument, find supporting evidence for a chosen path, or even anticipate potential challenges or counterarguments. And finally, decision documentation and communication. It can help you clearly articulate the why behind a decision and draft communications to explain it to different stakeholders.
Wow, okay. This is all incredibly powerful stuff, but, we've both said it, knowing this is one thing, actually doing it consistently is another beast entirely. How do we build these AI habits so they actually stick?
The million-dollar question. Yeah, sustainability is key. The best way habits form is by tying them to triggers, cues that already exist in your day. You're basically building a little, if this happens, then I use AI rule in your brain.
Okay, triggers. Can you give some concrete examples? What would that look like?
Sure. You could have task initiation triggers. For example, whenever I open a blank document to start writing a report, my first step is to use AI to generate an outline. It becomes automatic. Or time-based triggers. Maybe every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m., I use AI to summarize my week's accomplishments and draft my weekly update email, built right into the schedule.
Okay, tying it to specific tasks or times, that feels doable.
Yeah. Or context transition triggers, like right after I finish a client call, I immediately use AI to summarize the key action items and decisions while it's fresh. And maybe my favorite, problem state triggers. Turning to AI when you hit a specific roadblock. Whenever I get stuck staring at a blank email, I immediately pull up my email opener prompt. It's your go-to move for that specific pain point.
Those are super practical.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do you make these things actually stick? So you don't just do it for a week and then forget.
Good point. Start small. Seriously, just pick 1 to 3 triggers to focus on initially. Don't try to overhaul everything overnight. Then use reminders, a physical sticky note, a recurring calendar alert, whatever works for you. Track your usage. Just checking off that you did it can reinforce the habit. And definitely acknowledge the wins. When AI helps you save time or frustration, mentally note that positive reinforcement works.
Okay, start small, reminders, track it, celebrate wins. Got it. Now, what about the prompts themselves? If you're using AI regularly, you'll end up with tons of prompts. How do you keep them organized so you're not constantly reinventing the wheel?
Oh, a good prompt library is absolutely vital for making this sustainable. First, think categorization and organization. Group prompts, logically, maybe by task type, like email drafting, research summary, meeting prep. Use clear naming conventions. Then focus on standardization and formatting. Make your prompts like templates. Use consistent structures, clear placeholders like client name or key topic so they're easy to reuse. Add notes about how to use the prompt effectively.
So they become more like reusable tools than just saved text snippets.
Exactly. And versioning and improvement is key. As you use prompts, you'll find ways to make them better. Keep track of different versions, note what works best for what situation. Keep your go-to prompts stable, but also have experimental ones you're tweaking. Lastly, figure out your access and retrieval systems. How can you grab the right prompt quickly? Maybe use a text expander tool, a notes app with good tagging, or even just a well-organized document. Make it easy to find what you need when you need it.
Okay, that makes sense, turning prompts into a managed resource. But what about checking the output? How do we build in quality control so we trust what AI gives us, especially with those risks we talked about?
Yeah, you can't just blindly trust AI output, especially for important stuff. Sustainable use means having solid verification built in. First, establish risk-based verification levels. Not everything needs the same level of scrutiny, right? Decide beforehand. Is this low-risk internal brainstorming? Medium-risk internal report? high-risk client communication. Each level gets a different review process or checklist.
Right, so you're not wasting time triple checking a draft email subject line, but you are carefully reviewing a client proposal. Makes sense.
Exactly. Also, develop efficient review processes. Don't just reread everything AI writes. Use targeted techniques. Maybe scan for key numbers, check the overall tone, or even use another AI prompt specifically designed for verification, like fact-check the key claims in this summary, and create feedback loops for improvement. When you catch an error or limitation, don't just fix it. Document it. Does this suggest a flaw in your prompt? Use that learning to make the prompt better next time.
And when in the process do you actually do the checking? Is it always right at the end?
Not necessarily. Think about appropriate verification timing. Build checks in at logical points. Maybe a quick check after AI generates an outline, another after the first draft, and a final one before sending. For routine things, maybe you batch review them. And for really critical stuff, I highly recommend a cooling off period. Let the AI draft sit for a bit, then come back to it with fresh eyes for the final review. You'll catch way more that way.
Fresh eyes are always good. Okay, last piece on sustainability. How do we actually know if all this effort is, well, worth it? How do we measure the impact beyond just feeling like things are better?
Great question. You need some way to track progress, both to stay motivated and to, justify the time investment. One way is time tracking. Compare how long tasks took before AI versus after. Calculate the time saved. And crucially, track what you do with that saved time. Are you using it for higher value work?
So it's not just about saving minutes, but about reinvesting them wisely.
Exactly. Then look at quality metrics. Are error rates going down? Are you getting better feedback on the outputs? Is the consistency improving? You can also track volume and capacity. Are you able to produce more high quality work? Can you take on new projects or responsibilities because AI is handling some of the load?
And what about the stuff that's harder to quantify, like just feeling less stressed?
That's subjective well-being, and it's super important. Pay attention to how you feel. Are you less bogged down by tedious tasks? Do you feel less stressed or mentally drained at the end of the day? Is your overall job satisfaction improving? Sometimes that's the biggest win.
This is incredibly thorough. Okay, but what about scaling this? If you figure out a great AI workflow, how do you document it so it's consistent, and how do you share it with your team?
That's a critical next step for amplifying the benefits. Good documentation is key. First, process mapping and documentation. Create simple flow charts or step-by-step guides that show exactly where AI fits in. Highlight the decision points. Then, role and responsibility definition. Be crystal clear about which steps are AI-assisted and which must have human judgment or oversight. Define the handoffs.
So everyone knows exactly who or what is doing which part.
Yes. And tool and resource specification. Specify which AI tools are approved for the task and link directly to the relevant prompts in your library. List any other needed resources. Finally, build in exception handling and troubleshooting. What happens if the AI gives a weird result? What are common issues? Create simple decision trees or guides for dealing with predictable problems and know who to ask for help.
Got it. So you've documented this amazing process. Now, how do you actually train your team on it without just, throwing a manual at them?
Yeah, manuals alone don't work. Training needs to be thoughtful. Think about staged learning paths. Maybe a beginner level focuses on one simple high-value AI task to build confidence, then intermediate, then advanced. Definitely include hands-on practice sessions, let people try it themselves with guidance, show compelling before and after examples so they see the benefit immediately.
Seeing the why right away. That makes sense.
Exactly. Give them starter templates and proven prompts so they can get quick wins and reduce that initial friction. Also, set up troubleshooting and support systems. Maybe peer mentors, a dedicated Slack channel for questions, or a good FAQ. And importantly, establish clear permission structures and guardrails. Be explicit about what AI should and shouldn't be used for, especially regarding sensitive data. Maybe have an approval process before people roll out AI in totally new ways. Responsible adoption is key.
And this isn't just a set it and forget it kind of thing, right? These workflows probably need to evolve.
Oh, absolutely. AI changes fast and your team learns. You need continuous improvement and iteration. Schedule regular review cycles, maybe quarterly, to look at the AI workflows, check the metrics, and ask, is this still the best way? What could be better? Set up feedback collection systems. Actively ask the people using the workflows what's working, what's frustrating, and what ideas they have. Sometimes the best innovations come from the users.
How do you try out new ideas safely without breaking the existing process?
You need experimentation frameworks. Maybe designate specific sandbox times or projects where people can try new AI tools or prompts without affecting critical work. You could even do A/B tests, comparing an old workflow to a new AI-assisted one. And foster knowledge-sharing mechanisms. Create ways for people to share their successes, their cool new prompts, their aha moments, maybe a shared doc, a regular show-and-tell session, or internal case studies.
Okay, but even with the best plans, things will inevitably go sideways sometimes. How do you prepare for those common integration challenges?
You're right, bumps in the road are guaranteed. First, get good at identifying root causes. When something goes wrong, is it the AI tool itself? Is it a bad prompt? Or is the underlying process flawed? Having a simple diagnostic approach helps. Also, proactively develop workarounds and alternatives. What's plan B if the AI tool is down or gives garbage output? Have backup manual processes ready for critical tasks. Maybe develop hybrid approaches where AI just assists with one part.
So you're never completely reliant or stuck if the tech fails.
Right. Maintain access to continuous learning resources. Keep people updated on AI developments, share solutions to common problems widely, and encourage that culture of ongoing learning. And have clear escalation and support pathways. Who do you go to when you hit a really complex AI workflow problem that basic troubleshooting can't solve? Make sure people know where to get expert help.
This has been incredibly practical. Okay, before we wrap this deep dive, let's hit some quick-fire tips and tricks, maybe some obvious reminders first.
Definitely. Always start small. Pick just one or two workflows to integrate AI into first. Don't try to change everything at once. And please, document successful prompts and processes immediately. Write it down the moment you find something that works really well. Future you will be very grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. And set realistic expectations. AI is amazing, but it's not magic. Understand its limitations. And crucially, build in review time. Don't treat checking the AI's work as an afterthought. It's a core part of the process. Okay, those are solid fundamentals. Now let's get to the really juicy stuff. Some non-obvious tips that can take this to the next level.
All right, try this. Create workflow starter prompts. Instead of just using AI in a task, use AI to help you design the AI integrated workflow itself. Prompt it like, I need to create a process for onboarding new clients. Design a workflow integrating AI for communication, document generation, and task tracking. Use AI to build the system.
Whoa, that's meta. Using AI to architect the AI process. Cool. Okay, what else?
For teams, this is powerful. Develop AI collaboration agreements. Sit down with your colleagues and agree on things like which tools will we use for what? What are our standards for prompts? How will we handle review? This creates consistency and avoids chaos.
Like a team charter, but for AI use. I like that.
Exactly. Also, get in the habit of using process reflection prompts. After you complete a task using AI, prompt yourself or the AI. Reflect on this process. What parts felt smooth? Where was the friction? How could the prompts or the workflow be improved for next time? It builds continuous improvement right in.
Like a mini retrospective after each AI-assisted task. Smart. And one more.
Build context bridges between related AI tasks. If you use AI to summarize meeting notes, and then use AI to draft follow-up emails based on those notes, make sure the AI knows those tasks are connected. Feed the summary into the email prompt. This maintains consistency in tone, facts, and decisions across related workflows. It stops things from feeling disjointed and saves you a ton of editing time trying to stitch things back together manually.
Okay, wow. You've basically just given everyone a complete toolkit. We've gone from just knowing about AI to having a real strategy for weaving it into the fabric of our daily work, moving from occasional dabbling to a personalized, sustainable system.
That's the goal. It's about that systematic audit. Identifying the right opportunities, using tailored strategies, building those trigger-based habits, and having the documentation and review processes in place. It's an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Right. It's about continuous refinement and really developing that intuition for where AI fits best for you.
Exactly. As you practice these things, it becomes more natural, more second nature. And that's when you really start seeing the transformative potential.
Well, speaking of expanding potential, in our next deep dive, we're going beyond just text. We'll be exploring multimodal mastery, text, images, and beyond, looking at how AI can work with images, audio, video, and more. Should be fascinating. But for now, as you think about integrating AI more deeply, here's a final thought to mull over. If AI can genuinely start taking over more of the repetitive, the time-consuming, the mentally draining parts of your work, what could you do with that reclaimed time and mental energy? What truly human work, what creative project, what deeper problem could you finally tackle? What does work that truly matters start to look like for you now?